They were flaming Inspired a lot.
It's so weird to have this opinion.
If you say it publicly, you're blaming your teammate.
They can't take it, but there was like legit nothing.
I was gaslit into thinking Annie is like super OP.
Bro, we had like 100% win rate with Bunny.
He thinks any PR is good PR, I guess?
It's a nice position to be in, I kinda like it. Some people don't like it, I don't care.
Not a good look.
Welcome back to the LCS. That full video of Jensen Inspired is going to be dropping on Monday, but right now we have Game 2 of our best of 3 between FlyQuest and NRG.
Can we get more of a sneak peek?
Yeah.
It took me a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're here yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely is
no.
with that Game 1 victory. How do you guys feel about what happened?
It was unfortunate, especially it started with the bot lane dive. The moment that happened, I was like, oh, please, we need to save ourselves, guys. That ended a lot faster than I thought it would, though.
Yeah, it feels like NRG just couldn't get into good situations for them where they were actually set up in the side lane so they could use their comp well, and it just looked like there was a few kind of hero play moments from both Dhokla and Palafox where they tried to make something happen, but just felt like they couldn't really coordinate as a team together.
Emily?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I still do like, because I know, I'm glad you pointed out Licorice when you guys were going through Game 1 draft, where it's like, okay, obviously they gave up Skarner, right, which is the big thing. They kept the Cassio ban against Quad and left up the Skarner. And it's, what do you get for it? Well, you get this Gen G-esque comp, right, where you're going to be trying to play through side lanes. And we saw this yesterday in your series against Under Thieves. When that goes wrong and when it ends up grouping against a team that has such clear teamfight identity, like the Ziggs Trist, obviously they're super, super good for sieging turrets. You want to get them out to mow down turrets on the map, which I thought FlyQuest also did, but especially in a Baron Pig against those champions, it's just going to be a rough time. And
that's the thing. You guys had said it. It felt like the coordination is something that needs to get better. Like there was a time where I was like, okay, you guys want to be able to play on sides, but then you're getting two-manned on side lanes through bot lane when Yone gets picked out. Same could be said when K'Sante was winning a 1v2 up top lane, ends up dying. It's like, okay, what are we actually trying to achieve on side lanes first and foremost? If we can be on the same page, that'd be great. And then when they played through the Baron force, because they were behind and felt like they needed to force something, they weren't on the same page then either. So maybe it could just be as simple as, hey, this is week 2, try and draft something a lot more straightforward. I know that the players are recognizing it, but it's just not showing in the game.
And we talked about this a little bit at Waiting Room, but the fact that both of these teams lost in week 1 and the fact that you only play 1 match per week, if NRG loses this next game, it's the equivalent of starting a best-of-1 split 0-4, not necessarily 0-2. So it gives them so much less room for recovery and would be kind of a disastrous start for either of these teams if NRG loses the next game or if FlyQuest loses the next 2.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure just ramps up really fast in this format, it feels like, where now you're going into next weekend and starting 0-3 is basically you're down 3 dragons and the next thing's Soul, you know? And then Soul is playoffs is really hard, or maybe it's just totally off the table. But getting into draft, we see the Cassio ban is staying for NRG and it's responded with the Rumble ban by FlyQuest.
Which I don't think that's bad on blue side, right? Because it's not like, it's now the onus is on FlyQuest to ban Skarner. I assume they will, based on talking to members of that team, specifically Bwipo, who was, I'm sure, surprised to see it left open in this game because he was also surprised to see it open last week. As we see the Skarner ban coming through, and then also the Kindred against Inspired.
The Kindred ban is interesting. I think I like it, seeing how it does kind of deny a Karthus ultimate a lot of the times. It makes it really hard for the pick, so it kind of opens it up a little bit. Skarner being banned, like you had mentioned, makes a lot of sense, like that action. I'm just interested to see what the first pick priority is going to be for NRG coming into this one. Could be Sejuani, but with that being said, I think they like trading it.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing is just going to be what happens with Senna in this draft. Is NRG going to first pick it and go for the same split push identity with the Senna? Is FlyQuest going to ban it away and say oh, we'd rather just play straight 5v5 and we think we'll be stronger? So I think the Senna is going to be the defining pick here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they ban it on third, and that's going to tell us a lot about what goes through for NRG, I think. Yep, and there we go. Senna ban going down.
So Tristana's still available.
Yep, Tristana, Corki, all the AP junglers, but
Ashe as well. That has been banned pretty heavily in week 1 and parts of week 2. What is your thought on Ashe as a champion, in the draft?
I don't know.
No? You want to reveal your hand too
No,
much?
I mean, I don't know, man. That's
Yeah,
just
no
like
thoughts?
my bot lane gets to decide like what they want to pick. And, yeah. I don't think it looks like super strong, but it also like it doesn't look weak either. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
It'll be the first pick for NRG here.
That does mean, so the beauty of Ashe is, we kind of saw it already in the LCS, like you can pivot it to be like an Ashe Braum bot lane, or you can just be a hyper threat Ashe Kalista, Ashe Varus. That being said, as I said the champion, they lock in Varus to deny it, so don't want to see that paired together.
Yeah, Varus is a really common answer to the Ashe first pick, just because like you are picking something that is strong in lane back, so that at the worst case, even if they do lock in like the Ashe Kalista here, you're still going to be able to survive that lane, and then hopefully like the idea is you pick Nautilus, and then eventually Nautilus ults Ashe, and you win the game.
Yeah.
I like the plan.
And they're locking in the Trist as well, which would have been a nice mid lane pick for NRG, because again, looking at Ashe coming out of bot lane, you can go like that double Hail Blades, Kalista, Ashe to really, really stomp. But you can also go something like the Braum, like you said, and then rely on your AD mid to do the damage, which Corki is still up, and assuming that's kind of what they'll lock in, just do the Corki Trist trade.
Well, it's interesting because they had the opportunity to do the Corki Trist trade earlier in the last draft, and they opted not to, ended up getting stuck on the Yone, and they didn't like how that ended. So now it's basically just a much more conservative draft from them, actually, doing the handshake in mid lane for Palafox versus Quad.
And I like that if we are making the presumption that they still are having some of these synergy issues, especially, Raz, you pointed out, some of the Baron calls have seemed kind of split from certain members of the team. So something that is a little bit easier to execute as we see the Cassante locked in could be a lot better for NRG.
Yeah, so I was thinking whether or not he was going to go Renekton or Cassante. Now that he picked Cassante, Bwipo's he's like rubbing his hands together. I can counter pick. Is it going to be Olaf? What is it going to be? Olaf sounds pretty good, actually.
Olaf does look pretty good so far. Although I think if he's going to pick it, he'll save it for later.
Yeah, probably.
Looks like they are going for the Karthus, which is just like, feels like in these like 5-5 mid matchups where it's actually like Corki and Trist can both jump in really aggressively.
Yep.
The Karthus is often like the thing that like will swing the tides, and it just makes it that much scarier for Palafox to be able to play that side lane and play that mid lane.
Yeah, and Licorice, for me, 4-5 is always the most difficult part of the draft to prep for, let alone the 4-5 in a game 2 of a series. What do you feel like FlyQuest Energy are thinking here in the 4-5 bans?
I mean, with FlyQuest, you're choosing between, do you ban the AP junglers because NRG really wants an AP jungler here, or are you just going to ban those pairings with Ashe? Like, you're going to ban the Kalista, you're going to ban the Nautilus, the Braum, and then NRG side looks like they're just opting to like ban those picks into the Cassante and try to make Cassante as strong as possible, which I do think is good, because Renekton is really also a strong champion right now, and NRG's comp is pretty low range, so I think Renekton would look really strong here.
You already mentioned the Nautilus, and you made a convincing case. Like, 4-pick Nautilus kind of seems good here.
Nautilus press R, Karthus press R.
True.
Whoa, the Nexus is exploding! So I'm liking 4-pick not for FlyQuest, unless if not NRG does ban it here. So they at least have some semblance of a front line. God, I was thinking about any other melee champion bot lane, and it would kind of suffer here. There we go.
The Olaf is going to
shot
go
on
down.
Olaf.
It does look strong here, so I think that's a good ban. And I think it's likely we'll see the Leona Nautilus just getting traded here. FlyQuest will probably just take their pick of which one they think is better. Or they might leave it for counter pick and try to pick something.
Bwipo special could be a Poppy if he remembers this matchup from MSI. I do remember that was the one really good Oscarinen game against Impact when he could have a lane counter as Poppy into Cassante. How do you like that matchup, Licorice, as a Poppy enjoyer yourself?
I think it's really good. I actually did play it game 1 versus C9. That was the game we won.
True.
True.
I think Poppy's a really strong champion right now. Not a lot of people play her, but just a really powerful pick.
Yeah, as we see the Alistar hovered, I was wondering if they might have been thinking of flexing it bot and then saving R5 for top still.
And as we're seeing the hover, actually, a question that I want to throw your direction as we have 7 seconds of decision. Just the NRG's comp. What's your thoughts on NRG's comp coming into this game? Is it, are you a fan of it so far, now that the Alistar is now locked in?
I mean, it's a really straightforward front-to-back comp. Tank top, tank support, like carry jungle. So like the 4-man has a tank, the 5-man has 2 tanks, and like Corki Ashe are about as standard as it gets for right-click to win champions. I do think the FlyQuest comp just has a bit more tools. Like I think the Karthus ult will be really powerful in this game. I think the Poppy, to be able to stuff some of the engages from Leona and Cassante is really good.
Yeah.
So I would definitely flavor the FlyQuest comp in this one.
Sounds good to me. I want to hear from the casters as we send this one straight towards Flowers. Go for it, Flowers.
Thank you very much, analysts. It's time to get into this second game. First one was rough for NRG. Switching sides this time around. FlyQuest is not going to commit the same sin and allow that Skarner to be let through the draft. Dhokla's going to be back on the Cassante, but like the analysts were already talking about, they've got the counter pick in the Poppy. I remember watching the games at MSI. The Oscar Renan game with the Poppy countering the Cassante of Impact was definitely scary looking, so we'll see how well FlyQuest is going to pilot that one into NRG, because NRG really need to bounce back, man. They are in the trench right now.
And the key part with that one was it was a bruiser Poppy build. It was not full tank Poppy build. It was Sundered Sky, and he was doing some damage too, getting some kills. So very excited for this one. Honestly, I'm starting to get pretty worried for NRG Summer, you know, and all of the hype and the promotion for them geared towards Summer being their split. They're going to have to really pull some stuff together here on stage, because now that we are best of threes, you only get to play each team one time. Even though it is a full best of three and you have the opportunity to play 3 full games versus them, you only get one match versus them, and it sticks with you here with playoff seeding being this important. They're definitely going to have to bring things together quickly.
I mean, it's what the desk was talking about, right? A 0-2 start in summer 2024 feels like 0-4 in any other previous split, and nobody likes starting 0-4. Usually that's where you start to see the light switch from green to yellow, and you got to be like, hold on, boys, hold on. We don't want that to turn red. And NRG is not feeling good about the way that first game went. Hopefully they can bounce back here, find a little bit more coordinated gameplay in game number 2.
Yeah, no slowing down at a yellow light now. We need to speed up.
Speed up. Don't listen to us. This is not life advice.
This is not traffic advice.
Don't do that.
But NRG might want to be able to beat the red light. Let's see here, though, about game number 2, because already the Poppy here, Bwipo getting in their faces, going in. He has Q-start Poppy, went in for the auto attack, picked up his shield, and trying to be as annoying as possible. But Bwipo here does get a couple of procs on him.
Not just the auto attack on the plant. His job is just to slow down this ridiculous clear from Contractz.
Gardener.
Yeah. Bwipo and
clearing out the weeds.
Dhokla's like, get out of here. We already have a landscaping guy. The Bwipo is, he's going to be doing a good job of being a nuisance, and his delay on Contract's early jungle start allows Inspire to start his own blue and then just go in to Contract's red side quad.
Oh, that is brutal. It's like 2v1 jungle, Flowers.
It's a nightmare.
That is painful, and it's in one of the race car matchups of Zyra versus Karthus. So now Inspired here, the race car is all tuned up. He's got a very big early lead versus Contractz, stealing away his red buff as well. See if they, how angry he is and what he's able to do, because after Krugs, he's going to have a lot of extra time. So in that situation, if you're the jungler, if you're Inspired, especially if there's a solo queue, you're trying to notify both of your lanes towards bottom side, like bottom lane and mid lane. You're like, please, don't give this guy any freebie opportunities. Because I just took away, all the options for him. So he's going to be angry and he's going to be looking for something to do. Contractz walks over a ward to come contest Gromp, but that's right into FlyQuest's hands here.
Yeah, Contractz trying to do what Inspire did in the previous game, but it ain't looking nearly as good. Going over top of the ward, showing where he's at, gets caught out by Busio, and so has to use his flash very early.
And that is really well done. That is avoiding the situation I was talking about where you have taken away all options from this enemy jungler.
Yes.
And so they have the vision ward there too to see if he comes over for the kind of angry play where you go for
anger play.
You're only one other area to go for. And so that ward they're preparing for it, and Inspire the entire time is thinking, all right, this guy's only got one play. I'm going to circle back around after my wolves. I left my Gromp up there on purpose, and then they're rewarded with the flash. But now...
Ooh, Busio doing a good job knocking Huhi around down here. A lot of damage back onto both supports, but it's going to be Busio that drops first because Contractz still gets his first blood. It took him an extra couple of minutes to get there, but he gets the punish he was looking for. Massu down to 100 HP. He's got to be careful now, too.
Yeah, if you're Inspired, you're looking at your bottom lane like,
We just talked about this.
He had to still be there. He had to still be there. That was his only option. And FlyQuest actually went back in for that trade themselves, investing their flash from Busio to go for it. And
oh! Huhi hangs out for an extra 30 seconds in bottom lane. Massu not paying enough attention. The FlyQuest bot lane gets punished twice.
I think I know where the review for game number 2 is going to start on the FlyQuest Swag Flowers. Bottom lane here for FlyQuest, giving NRG some hope. Huhi there, out of the brush, gets one for himself. Let's see what can they do with this early start, because it is still a very meager gold lead. This is not like absolutely game changing, especially considering the counter jungling still was painful for Contractz, even though he comes in and he gets this first blood money, which was very much needed for him. He's still going to be a bit behind in experience because of the 2 camps that were stolen away from his side, and he's still not going to have flash. But Huhi did such a good job sticking around as the Leona, just knowing that the Varus is going to want to stick around here, so is able to punish Massu.
Very good stuff there from Huhi. Massu's going to want that one back, but no takesy-backsies here in the bottom lane. 5 minutes in, it's a 1.2 thousand gold lead for NRG. This is a very similar lead to what we saw for FlyQuest in game number 1. Granted, both of their kills happened at the exact same time with the tower dive that got foiled this time around, but it still ends up being the same sort of story being told, and Contractz is down here once more. Massu only level 3. Huhi and FBI levels 4 and 5. Ooh. Massu's got some catching up to do. Inspired is going to be around.
Yeah, they had no ward this time around, so Contractz is in there. There's an extra plant. There's 4 brush in this jungle, and there's an extra mobile plant.
Okay, Palafox now flashing away from quad. Does not want to end up getting yeeted backwards there, as they'll stay safe. Contractz and Huhi joining up with him just to make sure that their mid lane is going to be all right.
Yeah, you like to see this. You know, Huhi, this was the change on NRG. You know, the big change that everybody was talking about. And there was a lot of talk from NRG themselves about really incorporating him effectively into the team as far as both gameplay as well as shot calling. But him and Contractz really trying to take the early advantages from the first couple of plays and turn those early advantages into an actual game plan to win. So taking that and moving up through mid lane over to the grubs to grab the grubs for themselves this time around. A very good start here for NRG. Starting to see, you know, the at least the sparks of that turnaround that the analystess was looking for.
Exactly, right? They're trending in the positive direction, and that's what they need after how rough week 1 was, after how rough game 1 was here today in week 2. And the nice part is for them, with that grub take, FlyQuest wasn't able to trade immediately back for the Drake at the same time. So that's also still up and available if NRG gets control back over the bottom lane again.
Yeah, those are the benefits of, I love this play where you always try and like steamroll through mid up to your objective, because they're able to just chase out enemy mid up through the top side and then kind of chain it into a very quick take. By the way, you know, so many of these AP junglers love taking grubs, but it's always worth saying Zyra is
very good at it.
Extremely good at collecting all of them, especially when you get your Faded Ashes rush off of the first blood.
Well, the grubs like summoning a bunch of little garbage to fight you. And Zyra also loves summoning some garbage of her own. So she's able
fight!
Yeah, she's able to turn it into like a game of StarCraft where you're both spamming trash at each other.
It's a good old-fashioned trash fight.
Yeah, feels good, man.
Up in the Baron pit.
Trash plants versus trash grubs. The battle.
I feel like lore, you know, the grubs, they're kind of like, you know, maggots, and they eat garbage.
Oh,
so
yeah, it's like a compost heap battle.
It should be compost advantage to the grubs, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the compost championship in the Rift Herald pit in the early minutes of the game.
Yeah, and Zyra does win those.
Yeah, she's undefeated right now.
The plants actually beat the grubs.
She's holding the belt. She's the champ. The grubs have yet to win the matchup.
The world champion trash belt.
Yeah. She's the queen of the dumpster. As NRG is now going in for the play here in the bottom lane. Busio not level 6 here on the Alistar, means he's not as tanky as he'd like to be, but he's tanky enough to get away. FlyQuest had Inspired down here in bottom, and it was enough to get the first kill of the fight. Contractz still looking to follow up and see if he can get anything back, but it ain't gonna work. FlyQuest outplay him in the 3v3.
Oh, yep. Huhi goes down. Let's see. They still get the push out afterwards, and Inspired's, he was thinking about it. If FBI moved up a little bit too much, then maybe they mess around. But kind of covering here in case Contractz was trying to try something as well. But Varus ultimate goes wide, so FBI is going to be fine to finish the push here. Just wants to push it back in so it can bounce off.
You know, one thing I've noticed about modern League of Legends compared to, you know, like back in the day League of Legends? So many more Varuses hit their ults these days. I remember back in the day, Chains of Corruption was like the XD ability because every Varus missed it every time he threw it out. But that time I was like, oh, wow, he actually missed that one. You know, it's like more of a surprise. Most of the time the Varuses hit these.
Wow, I'm impressed. That was an interesting, like, roundabout flame. Roundabout way to flame.
It wasn't flame. It's just a matter of fact. It's like back in the day, I was surprised if the Varuses hit them. Now I'm surprised if they miss them.
Right, you were just surprised.
We're trending in the positive direction. The keyword is positive. I'm being positive.
Right, except for the last one that we just saw. But anyways, it's going to be Dragon!
All right. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Dragon control for energy because they didn't surrender this first Drake trade for the Grubs earlier. Inspired's going to show up. But I don't think he's going to be here in time. I mean, he has his Smite to try to challenge for this if he wants, but it's already secured by Contractz. Palafox making his way over as well. Inspired's going to take a lot more damage than he wanted to there. He gets out of the way of the Stranglethorns before the knockup would have connected, flashing away from the rocket. I'm not actually sure if that would have hit him or not, but it would have been so close that I respect doing the flash to not give the kill out.
Oh, yeah, I think that big one would have exploded, and Inspired would be dead, but survives. Dearest Karthus does survive this time around.
Dearest Karthus. Bwipo knocking FBI back away from him and then just returns back to the wave to keep on farming. He knows how far away that's going to knock the Ashe. He can go back, finish off this wave. It's not an absolute domination in the top lane for this Poppy counter pick thus far.
I do like the swap there because they can just have Dhokla teleport down to bottom side and pick up this wave while they secure themselves the full 6 grubs. Zyra should be able to take care of that, no problem. She still holds the trash belt, and that's not going to change hands here because they've rotated Ashe up topside, as you already saw, and are going to be able to finish it off.
Yep, easy peasy for Contractz. All 6 grubs for energy just feels great with your turret taking potential. Unfortunately, they don't have, like, you know, the Tristana and the Ziggs from the previous game for that ultimate turret destruction of annihilation type of comp, but hey, 6 grubs feels good no matter what.
It certainly does. Retains his title. Meanwhile, we now get a little bit of free time. It's kind of interesting where we've got support timer for Huhi.
Yep.
And Flash is ready on Leona, although he needs to soak experience somewhere to get 6. So I was thinking
a little.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to go soak it off a mid lane, but now he's just kind of looking around the jungle for some wards. Maybe you can even just get it off wards.
Well, you know how those mid laners are, man. You show up to a mid laner's lane, you try to just soak a couple of minions. He's going to ping till the ping is broke.
Even if you use those minions to get level 6 and give him a gank?
Yup. Wow. He's going to be, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's some chickens over there.
Yeah, you should have thought of that before you came mid. Got your level 6 somewhere else. He's trying. Couldn't even get it off of those.
Unlucky, man. Unlucky. We got about a minute and a half until the Rift Herald spawns, so we'll see if we get a big old team fight out of that one. Massu going to grab an extra plate up here in the top lane. Still about a 1,000 gold lead for energy. You can see those slight advantages just across the board there on the scoreboard for the individual gold differences. The only one favoring FlyQuest is a single melee minion's worth of gold for the Poppy that now also disappears.
Yes, so count it.
That's a counter pick. That's a counter pick right there. Single melee minion.
All right, we got to jump in.
Yeah, quad going in for it. Chunks out Palafox, but now he's got to be careful because Contractz trying to lock quad up, but he jumps back away with that reset rocket jump as Bwipo now jumping in for FBI, but FBI's pretty all right with this. I mean, he knows that as soon as Poppy tackles after him, there's not really any more gap closed to deal with the slow, so FBI's perfectly comfortable until Busio and Inspired show up. Maybe we will get something here after all. Busio, again, let's see if he can find any sort of a lockdown. Nope. Not going to happen. Bwipo was not able to keep FBI there for long enough. Poppy doesn't have like that hard CC other than just the snap knockup from the ulti, so was hoping maybe FBI would stick around and fight him a little bit more, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, and just going to get a very slight health trade over here. Meanwhile, on the top side, we have the opposite mismatch where the Cassante is pushing in on the Varus, trying to get up there. But Bwipo attacks these to a minion again.
Yeah, and there, once more, you have that snap knock-up on the ulti. But when FBI is in the middle of the lane, you don't have the wall bang. It's harder to get what you need in terms of locking him up. The Requiem not near strong enough to kill off FBI. And now it's a lot of problems for Bwipo. He's going to be killed by the arrow from downtown. FBI gets his first kill.
Good calculations here on the side of NRG. And FlyQuest trying to squeeze out extra damage there, but the extra barrier from FBI, they don't have enough damage that then the Karthus ultimate would actually be a kill ultimate. And so he survives, plus Huhi once again setting up Contractz. Huhi sets up Contractz for the easy combo on the Zyra. They get the kill onto the Zyra. That is Liandry's completed here for the grub fight, trash fight world champ.
Yes, sir.
So let's see. Nobody's going to take his belt anytime soon.
No way, man. This is such a better look for NRG than game number 1 was. Like, I like the draft situation better. I like the fact that they're actually coordinating as a team so much more coherently than we saw in any of their previous games so far this split. Now, they're the ones going after the Herald. FlyQuest has a couple of dudes nearby, but those dudes are not making their way over to the pit. Quad with a knockback on Palafox here. Goes for the Tristana Insect, but instead has to flash away himself. Nearly dies to the final Corki rocket. Busio makes his way up, but it's not like he can even engage on Palafox here just yet. Goes for the flash. Pulverize wanted to get the headbutt back into the turret, but it ain't going to work out now. Huhi coming in to cut off that escape route. Busio has already used the ultimate. The unbreakable will might get broke after all. Huhi wants to jump in here with a Zenith Blade into the Shield of Daybreak. Give the kill over to Palafox. My boy's eating burgers, and the cow is down. Rift Herald takes out that first turret. They're going to get the charge here onto the Tier 2. NRG loving these first 15 minutes.
That was a weird domino effect of people attempting insects on non-Lee Sin champions.
Yes.
First Quad tries to go for it onto Palafox. They both flash. Then Busio tries to get the knockback on him into the tower, but he ends up getting Cassante pushed back, and then he's the one who dies, plus the tower. NRG here, really, really strong comeback in game number 2. Pushing that lead is the key part too. They did not stall out after just the play onto bottom side and getting their lead there. They took that lead, they ran through mid, they turned it into the objectives of getting the 6 Void Grubs so you can do really strong pushes like we just saw. That plus the Herald, poof, towers are all gone on top side.
And, you know, I respect the fact that FlyQuest is trying to make some plays happen when they're behind, but at the same time, you're going to have to clean them up a little bit more than what you're doing, because a lot of what we're getting this game from FlyQuest is just, it's a little bit of slop, you know? I want to see this be a little bit cleaner, a little bit tighter.
I'm okay with a little slop. every now and then, you know?
Sometimes the game of League of Legends got to get a little bit messy.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit. Sometimes you need the extra entertainment factor.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, NRG's pretty entertained right now. They are loving the current state of this.
They want to get to that final game. It's a best of 3. They want to make use of the full series.
That's the most entertaining game every time. Best of 3. You need that third game.
Little slop. Yeah, never hurt anybody.
A little game 2 slop for a game 3 bop. Let's do it. FlyQuest are once again going to invest some manpower up here in the top lane. Palafox is saying, all right, I don't care, dude. I'm going to go hang out back underneath my turret. It's my favorite place to be anyway. Just going to try to play it safe. Has a teleport coming in. Has Huhi off to the side with a nice solar flare over the wall. Busio again. He's just so far away from any kind of hopes or dreams. The man is done. Bwipo gets dragged to the wall here with the all out. He's gone too. NRG are making these dudes look silly. Huhi goes after Massu. He's going to force the flash over the wall from the enemy carry at the same time. He'll trade his own flash for it. You call that worth NRG 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, instant collapse here from NRG. Dhokla teleports in. Everybody comes to defend Palafox, and there is no way out for 50% of the FlyQuest members, because Busio here goes back in for the re-engage, and since the teleport is so deep for Bwipo, he's also trapped inside. Inspired barely gets out on the Karthus after flashing and then receiving the Zyra ultimate, but it's also going to take Massu's flash here. You'll trade a Huhi flash in chasing Massu for the Varus flash every day of the week.
Ooh, Quad getting hit by a good chunk of damage there, down to 1/3. Inspired, trying to stay here and protect it. Oh, Busio. Every time the camera goes on Busio, he is getting his butt kicked this game. It is a tough game to be an Alistar that's behind the curve of things.
Yep. receiving quite a lot of damage. A lot of it at the hands of Palafox, too. How you liking this reworked Corki, Captain Flowers? As that rocket would have also been death.
Rework Corki. He might not have the package. He might not have those XD Luden's Hydra builds that made no damn sense, but just destroyed everybody anyway. But he is so strong, man. This champion absolutely tears through people. And I like seeing Palafox having a good performance like this because even we heard from him back in spring that he had some really weak performances. Even for his own standards, he's just like, I expect better of myself. I need to step up. And so you want to see him be able to do that as now Huhi goes in for the engage yet again. Bwipo having to flash away. And Busio just soaks way too much damage. Palafox hits him with the rocket. And Dhokla gets some revenge on Bwipo from that first game. Inspired's going to die again now to a double kill back over to the Corki. The Requiem comes through, but FBI barriers through it. Palafox dies beforehand anyway, so the value of this Karthus is just invisible in this second game.
Oof. Almost pushing the gold lead to 6,000 here, our NRG after the invade. I completely agree with your point on Palafox there earlier as well. Even though he ended up dying, so critical for them to have a strong performance from him, because even as recently as last game, from game number 1 of this series, a little bit rough. So nice stuff here from NRG. This, if they're able to finish this one out, this could be something that really kind of revitalizes them. Let's take another look, though. You can tell they're thinking, we want to be as aggressive as possible and push this lead as hard as possible. Huhi immediately had gone for the engage, and once again, they're able to punish the cow on the way out. Meanwhile, Dhokla's also feeling it between towers, goes all out, and they're able to get the kill here. But there you go. Every time a Varus ult hits now, I'm going to think of what you said earlier in the game, where you're only surprised when they miss now, like it's a point and click or something. But that was a good snipe there, one. A critical one that earned the only kill for FlyQuest.
Yeah, that was solid. That worked out. But unfortunately for FlyQuest, this game state as a whole just continues more and more favoring NRG's side, as now they're starting up the Baron, but they got to be careful here. There is a few ways you can still throw a 6,000 gold lead. One of them is the Baron pit. Inspired, chunk to half HP. Nice arrow there, Chains of Corruption. Not going to connect as NRG walks back away. Massu, he had it there in case they were going to keep chasing. I can see what he was going for. I'm not going to put the XD in chat on that one.
Yeah, zoning, right?
Yeah, that's understandable. He's creating space with the chains. That's important. As NRG, they might not have been able to get the Baron, but I think for NRG fans, they're probably still feeling relief more than anything that it wasn't a Baron throw.
Yeah, and when you put it that way, I have to wholeheartedly agree. The only downside for NRG on top of what we just saw was that also during that time, FlyQuest had kept up their split pushing. So Bwipo was bottom side using his teleport, his unused teleport kind of looming there ominously. The threat of it, yeah, exactly. And he was just pushing up the minion wave so that if the engage actually occurred, then he would join the rest of the team. But because they were able to zone off the chase from NRG there, they actually got value out of it.
Okay, we got a TP coming in. FlyQuest looking to make a move, but the move is already done. Massu with a critical error that foils any plan that FlyQuest might have had. FBI might be taken out here. Nope, not quite enough damage, but it looks like the Requiem should get it done. Palafox dies, FBI dies. FlyQuest might have just found an angle after all, as Huhi, Dhokla, and Contractz just trying to walk away from this one. FlyQuest finally getting a little bit of momentum. I was worried as Massu died at the very start that any sort of a chance they might have had would have got foiled, but Palafox and FBI both end up getting punished. Very important to note, those are black and white portraits for both of these ranged carries, and they both spent their flashes to still die.
Thank you, dear Karthus, for pressing R. Nice R button there. Honestly, though, quad. How many times is that going to happen? Quad to me
happen a lot.
Quad to me has been quite good on the Tristana. So getting some chunks here, and once you get your Kraken plus your Navori, you actually really start to feel the synergy here. You start to feel the extra power of this champion, and if they're able to open up some spots like this where they get the chunks onto NRG backliners, now neither of them having flash, then they can look for these repeat plays. But looks like NRG want to take advantage of the cooldown of Karthus' ultimate, since it was just used and should be around 50% at the moment. They force.
Okay, the target is going to be Busio. The Alistar is plenty tanky. Chains of Corruption. flies out, but Dhokla having a flash away now. Busio still alive at about 100 HP. FBI and Huhi looking to re-engage, but Huhi's going to be tackled back into the wall from Bwipo, looking to make his escape. Inspired goes on a rampage. Dearest Karthus has made his way onto the rift, sir. It might have taken him a while, but the party has started and Inspired has arrived.
Oh yeah, this time around, Huhi's look for the aggressive re-engage is a little bit too far away from the rest of the squad, and they further separate them. The Alistar here, pretty annoying to deal with when you're going for those as like the solo re-engage. So FlyQuest are able to get the kill. I would say, biggest credit though, that Poppy ultimate got both carries. Poppy ultimate ejecting both Palafox and FBI is what allowed FlyQuest to even be in that position.
I mean, Poppy Ultimate is such a game-changing ulti, right? It's something similar to like Lamb's Respite or Tempered Fate. The ability to just remove something that should happen and say, no, it's actually not happening now. You just get to rewrite the script.
You certainly do. Rewrite it in your favor. Meanwhile, Quad continues to get richer. You got solo tower gold in the post-play. Even though he wasn't able to get the kill credit on that Huhi kill, getting the solo tower gold afterwards, very, very beneficial here. Gets the full BF sword, and they're right back out to reset here towards Baron Vision.
Now, still a 4,000 gold lead for NRG overall, but the thing that I'm looking at here on the scoreboard is the fact that there now is a 400 gold individual lead for Inspired. He does have 4 out of the 5 kills that FlyQuest have secured for themselves so far. Yes, they are still significantly behind, but if this Karthus can die in the right spot and find a lot of value with this ulti after it, you can really change a fight with that, as Massu's going to get chain CC'd by the solar flare into the arrow, but there's no way to follow up on any of it. Palafox is already dead. NRG are committing resources in a real strange way. They used both of their biggest engage tools on a dude that's out in Narnia.
Yeah, and Narnia's behind the tower, too.
Yeah,
I didn't
know. That's the wardrobe.
Yeah, they were unable to break the wardrobe. There's still like an auto or two left on mid lane tower. And so FlyQuest now, after that kill, they're going to move on over. Let's see, it's a little bit risky. No Karthus ultimate, so they don't want to start it up. But another one there for FlyQuest. NRG, though, this tower, just get in there. And
yeah, just smack the stupid
there
thing. There you go. Use those grubbies. The grubbies changed their fandom from the Void Grubs to Zyra. They were a fan of Zyra in the World Wrestling Championship of the topside grub duel arena now.
And Contractz has yet to be killed, so we need to track this belt because currently he still holds it. But now, with the way the game is looking, FlyQuest might end up with it.
Oh yeah, I want to see if Inspired delivers the Stone Cold Stunner to the Zyra in the middle of one of these team fights with a big ulti from the top rope.
Give me that trash belt.
Yeah, but we got still a 3,500 gold lead for NRG, which sounds impressive, but it has shrank down from that. What was it, about a 6,000 gold peak 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. FlyQuest doing a good job fighting back here, continuing their scaling. Inspired level 15 on the Karthus, one more level for the really big ultis to start to rain down. Meanwhile, Bwipo has not had a difficult time holding the split push, even though he's down 1.5 thousand gold here on the Poppy. He's got his Sunfire, he's got his Fimbulwinter. It's kind of tank matchup where you focus on the minions and still able to do their job. So FlyQuest, let's see if they can keep it up, because NRG returned to one of the most cursed areas of the map for them so far in summer, which has been the Baron area, trying to at least take away some of the wards, some of the vision first. It's difficult for them because you mentioned it last time, but I mean, they invested all their engage resources on the Varus, but the Varus was so deep back in enemy territory and behind the tower that they had no follow-up during their stuns, and just kind of got annihilated.
Stunning the dude is great. Being able to kill him afterwards is better by a lot.
Yeah. Definitely want to stun someone that is within range of your DPS. So let's take a look, though. They will still be able to pick up Dragon number 2 here.
Yep. But it's not like they've been stacking a whole bunch of dragons so far this game. It's not like this is going to be any sort of immediate win condition. The fastest they would be able to secure a soul is 10 minutes from now. And 10 minutes from now, even if the gold stays exactly as it is, 4,000 doesn't mean that much close to 40 minutes in.
Also, beyond gold, range is such a strong scaling factor. And so Tristana here getting levels. Karthus looking at levels 2, he's over halfway now to level 16. So the more and more levels into the FlyQuest carries on their side, they already have some range advantages, but Tristana continually adding to that range does make it more and more scary here for NRG. Despite their gold lead, they're probably starting to feel the pressure here.
Well, that EXP bar on Karthus that you pointed out, over halfway there, now about 80% of the way. He's also got the 2 large rods in the inventory.
Oh.
Right about the time he hits level 16, he's also going to buy his hat. Karthus really likes some fancy headwear, man.
Yeah.
This could be a serious issue. And I think NRG are looking at exactly that. They're going in, they're starting up the Baron. They already used the Strangle Thorns to enchant the plants to make sure they can rush this down. NRG are going to secure Baron Nashor, but now what about the fight? Bwipo has already got Palafox into the picture, and FBI is going to be gunned down by Quad. Massu with some lockup, one of the remaining players. Contractz goes over the wall and rides the Hex Gate back out, but the Requiem is summoned. NRG have disengaged in time. It's not going to be that meaningful. So it is a Baron take, traded away for the death of FBI through both summoner spells.
That is way better than all the other energy barons that we have seen.
Yes.
They were feeling the pressure. Despite them having the gold lead, they were feeling so much pressure in this game because of the FlyQuest scaling factors, and so they make the call, I think, correct choice. Just burn Baron, try and rush it down, and then everybody scramble for the escape. FBI does go down, but a single person in payment for this Baron, which will allow them to try and push, and actually end this game before it gets too out of hand. As I say that, though, the death cap is completed for Inspired. So next ultimate is truly going to pack a wallop here. But NRG, they really need to make the most of this Baron time that they have now.
Yeah, and I think if you're FlyQuest, what you're looking at is, okay, it wasn't a great trade killing off FBI just for the Baron, but now Contractz and FBI, 2 champions with absolutely 0 inbuilt mobility or escape mechanisms, are now entirely vulnerable. If you can hit them with a flash engage from the Alistar, if you can get Poppy to find some kind of an angle there for a wallbang, it's a whole lot of potential to start a fight off in a very explosive way. So while NRG has this Baron, why this should now be an opportunity for them to push the lead forward and try to expand that gold lead back up towards that 6K peak it was previously at, they need to be careful, they need to be warding their flanks, and they need to be working together.
They certainly do. Especially FBI and Huhi here, those are the means for picking someone off. A late game pick like this, while FlyQuest are trying to keep control of their minion waves and push them out, that's the way that you can win this game. An Ashe Arrow, a Leona ultimate, if Huhi and FBI can just pin one member down as they're transitioning between defending these towers, between cleaning up these minion waves. Right now, though, they 4-1 split push. They actually invest the Zyra ultimate early.
Yeah, they wanted to go for that one, and now with the Requiem coming down, Huhi might be the guy in some trouble. Bwipo approaching from the angle, but he's not going to find it in time. Instead, Dhokla shows up here with a TP. Bwipo charging up the Keeper's Verdict, goes for the knockback on Contractz and Palafox, but just shy of the range that he would have needed to knock them both away. No dead bodies either side.
And that's very good for FlyQuest. That's great news for them because they are just trying to defend against the Baron siege at the moment, and they were going to get split push pressure because Dhokla had just gotten there up on the top side, but Dhokla immediately teleports in because of the engage for FlyQuest. So that was a very successful defense for FlyQuest to buy themselves a lot more time.
And you can see up in the top left, the amount of gold gained for the Baron, it's only at plus 400 right now with 10 seconds left on the buff for NRG. That's not great. Just killing the thing gives you 1,500 across the whole team. So FlyQuest, when the dust is all settled, they ended up losing a total of 500 gold to the enemy Baron pickup. You'll take that, I think, any day of the week.
Boo-hoo.
Oh, no. 500 gold. What will I ever do without my Doran's Blade?
Meanwhile, Lord Dom's completed as well for Quad. This Tristana is truly threatening, and they found a pick.
Yeah, it looks like they're going after Dhokla here. K'Sante is not normally a champion you would look at and say, yeah, let's pick that guy. But when you got this much firepower, you might as well just unload. Quad ends up getting his 2nd kill.
All right, how much damage? Is there a minion wave up at that tower? It looks like Palafox pushes in topside, and they're going to rotate over towards mid. NRG want to get the secondary tower here, the guaranteed gold, the payment for Dhokla's life.
Yep, and they will indeed do that. So although the pick comes in for FlyQuest, the money goes over to Quad. Those tier 2s you already talked about earlier in the series, it's worth 800 gold. That's a good bonus, but we're also 33 minutes into the game.
And the only thing is that the mid one, funnily enough, they made worth less than the side lane ones because
yeah, true.
they are trying to incentivize split push as a strategy, and so that's why the side lane secondary ones are worth a little extra. But top laners, Flowers.
Top laners is the 7th camp, and Palafox is looking. No. Palafox is looking to go home. He does not want to go camping. He has allergies. He is not looking to spend time in a great outdoors. He is gone. And it looks like all of NRG now resetting their positions here, recognizing that the play they wanted to make on Bwipo's Poppy is not going to happen. In the meantime, FlyQuest acquired their 3rd Drake of the game. They are on Soul Point. 5 minutes from now, that could be Hex Soul.
Yeah, NRG knew. They're like, all right, well, Dhokla still had, I believe it was like 26 seconds or something on his death timer. So they're like, you know what? We'll get the payment in the secondary tower in mid lane, but we're not going to be able to do anything about this dragon. So that is yours, FlyQuest. Congratulations. And they are going to be pretty happy because level 18 achieved for Quad on this Tristana with the dreamed 4-item power spike. This is when it is truly peaking. Yeah. You get your cooldown reduction from your Flicker Blade, you have your big crits from your Infinity Edge, and you have your armor penetration from your Lord Doms. This is fully operational, fully maxed out passive range.
And Palafox wanted to go for the recall, but he gets stopped instead. But Quad dies! Palafox with the outplay in a 1v1. Beautifully done from the NRG mid laner. That was clutch.
Yeah, turns out, too bad, the genius midfielder Palafox.
Oh, Massu uses the cleanse there. Nice job from FBI forcing out that summoner spell, but Busio is still looking for Palafox down here in the bottom lane at the same time. Palafox gets away back to the safety of the base.
Cal versus Plane. Palafox escapes on the bottom side.
That's a tough matchup.
Is he going to get to the fountain in time? He doesn't get to the fountain in time!
Cal versus Plane, but the Cal is haunted.
Can we look at the fountain steps? Palafox died almost at the fountain steps. He was so close to getting back. Where's that Plane? Oh, it disappeared. It was right there.
He crashed right before he made the return flight home. Now FlyQuest looking for their 4v4. Huhi, the target here with the star, but that's not a very good target. Bwipo going to be turning that right back around into FBI, looking to take down the Ashe. Inspired's going to be taken over the wall with the all-out coming in from Dhokla. The first kill going over that away. FBI still running, but he's also still gunning. A TP from Quad ready to reinforce the lines because he knows he was going to be respawning first. FlyQuest, they're the only team that lost a man here. They reinforced with Quad, so it's not like NRG can push it any further. Dhokla still looking maybe for a recall. Quad's just going to push up this mid lane wave. Look to take out that tier 2 as the cost. NRG still looking. Quad again, the power of this Tristana being able to buffer through the arrow with a rocket jump up. Bwipo's down to 1/4 HP. Huhi's still looking to chase him. Locks him down with the Zenith Blade. Bwipo jumping right back into the fight, looking to take one with him. FBI drops. Dhokla's about to fall here too. Busio's on the hunt and Quad is on the chase. NRG are still trying to outplay it, but the damage from FlyQuest is way too good. Palafox finally swoops into the fight, and now it's Massu and Busio and Bwipo trapped behind enemy lines. A triple kill over to Contractz. Feel the Thorns embrace. Palafox will finish off this team fight just barely. No! Bwipo lives through it, and he'll live to see another day.
And just like that, Karthus is back alive, as revived after getting picked off and separated from the team with Dhokla. So Inspired's back out to farming. We are about to get the respawn. Let's take a look at how it all started out, though. This play from Dhokla was really good. He separates the Karthus, gets the Karthus body away from the rest of the team, so he isolated, kills him out away, and NRG think, all right, this is amazing. You know, we have such an upper hand here, being able to fight our way out of it. Even though Corki just died to Karthus ultimate, they now have the power. And so FlyQuest, they move into the jungle. Quad's going to go for this tower, as you know, but we're back out to another Baron rush.
The Zyra ulti being used on the Baron. Look at how fast they burn this. This was Zyra and Corki. That was mostly just a 2-man Baron attempt because Zyra's power of the Stranglethorns just absolutely deletes the thing. Big swing in the favor of NRG.
Let me ask you one thing. Are you having fun, Flowers?
Oh, I'm having a good old time.
See, a little slop never hurt anybody. This is a banger.
Holy cow. Damage dealt last team fight.
10K.
That's like as much as all the rest of them dudes put together. Like, that's 44 plus 44 is 8. Yeah, it's actually almost exactly the same as all 4 other players on NRG put together. Insane DPS from Contractz here. This Zyra 4-0-6. He still hasn't died.
still holding that belt. Don't underestimate.
Yeah,
Don't
the
underestimate the plants. The power of the plants here. And now with Dragon spawning, this is a possible Dragon Soul for FlyQuest, but NRG have the control of all vision leading up to the Dragon, and they're the ones controlling the choke points. So I think that FlyQuest should probably let this one go. Knowing them though, maybe they won't do it. Let's see. Busio does have flash, but he's only level 12 on the Alistar, so you're still pretty squishy.
Yep. Okay.
Base checking is so dangerous.
It's such a big risk, man. FlyQuest know that, yeah, you can still give this one away. They're not on 3 Drakes as well. You're not giving away the soul itself, but it looks like they want to fight. Busio trying to be the first one in, but it's going to be Bwipo leading the charge instead. Stranglethorns placed down as Inspired has to try to flash away. Dhokla's going to be traded for him almost. The Requiem summoned off. Massu getting back over the wall here with the glance. Busio with a 3-man knockup. FlyQuest still trying to find the fight, but it ain't going to work. NRG, they're just stronger. Huhi finally dies in the back end of things, but Bwipo will not be able to escape the perma slows of the Ashe. He will not take FBI with him. It's a 4 for 2 for NRG.
And how much can they get? Because they still have Baron buff for another minute, so they can immediately push afterwards. They've got a wave on bottom side. They're going to push as hard as they can. Quad will be the one to defend, but I think this inhibitor tower is for sure going down. Palafox and Contractz are going to make sure of it.
Yeah, this inhibitor tower, they are both cooked, my friend. Quad is going to set up and try to defend here at the 2 Nexus turrets, but it's still 10 seconds on Busio. It's 15 on Inspired, and the first Nexus turret is not looking too strong. Turret destroyed by Contractz. The arrow ain't gonna hit Quad. Quad just trying to stop him in time. 1 second left in the Alistar. NRG going for the end of the game. NRG, they're taking us to game 3.
Well, well, well. NRG showing up. They are alive. Fighting back here in game number 2, starting out with a really tight spot for particularly Contractz, I want to say. Really amazing game from him because he's the one who got his plant assassinated in his start on blue buff by Bwipo. Bwipo went in and distracted and slowed him down while the Karthus started counter-jungling his red quadrant of the jungle, but then Contractz still tenacious as ever. He sticks around bottom side until they get the first blood, and then moves up the river using Huhi after Huhi's plays to go start their grubs and start their snowball to win the game. It wasn't as clean as all that, but it eventually turned into the big dub. Really, really good stuff here from Contractz on that Zyra jungle.
I'm always impressed when somebody has a bad start in the jungle and rebounds to salvage it later on in the game, but to not even die a single time, to have 11,000 team fight damage in a clutch moment to save the game. Huge performance from Contractz and from NRG as a whole to tie up our series. We're headed to a break before game 3, but first a quick reminder, the LCS will be back on Thursday and Friday next week. That's Thursday and Friday, 2 days earlier than normal. Don't say we didn't warn you. And as we head to a break, let's go ahead and take a look at our LCS Connected Comms replay presented by AT&T, voted on by you guys.
That wasn't live. I was laughing at the...
I'm TP behind. I have a flank on the Licorice. Oh, fuck. I have a flank on the Licorice. Okay. I flash. Oh, fuck. I stunned him. I think Triss will die. Triss will die. Okay, okay. Nice. I think you can help me out. Yeah, yeah. Varus is any damage still here? Yeah. You guys can win. You guys can win. You guys win. Yeah. Just watch the wall here. Watch the wall back. I know. It's nice. Karthus is up in 7. I'm basing Christian. Yeah, base and then we can do Nash, I think. No.
I'll probably most talk my split to Jojo because we were ex-teammates before too, and I really want to change the way he acts. I'm gonna change him up.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Actually, I'm not good at it.
Definitely FlyQuest. I don't think much more needs to be said about why it's FlyQuest, but I'm sure the community knows why.
I don't want to talk my split to anybody. I'm a nice guy now.
I mean, I would only do it to players I'm friends with, so Tomio and Blabber, they're both junglers.
Oh, honestly, I don't even have anything against anyone. I'm just so happy to be here, you know, like everybody's just been amazing.
Probably Bwipo. I mean, his ego is really high. You know, we're on complete ends. I don't really talk enough, and he talks maybe too much for me, so we're just different people.
I'm not much of a talker, to be honest.
Maybe TL, Team Liquid, because they are the defending champion now. You know, they did overperform, but I think
a lots of teams underperformed, so kind of salty about that. I don't really want to trash talk anyone. We did not have a good split last split based on our standards, so I don't feel like I deserve to trash talk, honestly, until we start winning. So I'll win first, then I'll start talking to people if I feel like it.
I need to talk, bro. I run this league. Just remember, like, I've won a split every year since 2020, and there's only one split left of this year. I didn't play in spring.
I think in a different interview, they asked me who the most overhyped player was, and I said JoJo. I personally still think that guy's the most overhyped player. Yeah, I mean, since I've ever been in the league, he's not made it past me and yet to make an international event through me, so I'm going to keep that up this split.
I was on the flash.
Nice.
There we go, baby. We're back.
We're back, baby. Kill Karthus.
I'm just hitting Poppy. Just hit Poppy.
Okay. I'm on Varus still.
Okay. Coming.
I'm just going top.
Yeah,
he has to flash. Just blow his flash.
Just on the ceiling mid.
No, Karthus, no flash. Yeah, I'm going behind them. Careful.
Yeah,
He should die.